Alright, what's going on, guys? We got a trade recap today for Monday. What is today? March 3rd, first trading day of March. Got a trade recap done within the first 30 minutes of market open. We caught this nice short here. We're going to go over my bias, what I was looking for going into the market today, and how I was able to identify this short trade right here, and why this was actually super clean. So let's get into it, man. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, I actually was a little bit of a bullish bias today coming into the market open because, like I said in the weekly outlook video, this is ES. We had run through this 4-hour CIBI here. Boom, right here. We had completely disrespected it, and we had started to move up to the upside, and I want to see this buy side liquidity, this daily for value gap, as well as equilibrium, which is marked out by this purple line. It is equilibrium of this whole range right here. I want to see this area and price get tapped into and rebalance to, but that doesn't mean that we can't come back down and rebalance to this 4-hour for value gap before heading higher. So I was able to identify that. If we scale into the 1-hour chart, originally when market opened, we had this 1-hour fair value gap we were holding on to, and price was moving up forward. I had this 4-hour fair value gap marked out, and I had this hourly fair value gap marked out. So when market first opened, I'm scaled into the 1-minute chart on this 4-hour fair value gap, on this 1-hour fair value gap. Let's delete this SMT for now. Looking for this 1-hour fair value gap to hold, scaled into the 1-minute chart to take advantage of the market open volatility, and I want to see some sort of moves to the upside. We actually get displacement to the upside, and this looks great. We also had an SMT at the lows in comparison to NQ, and I have a limit order placed right here. Oh, sorry, I had a limit order placed right here. Boom, looking to get tapped into going long to this internal buy side liquidity here. For the reasons that I just mentioned, we have reasons for price to come back higher and rebalance. This is an internal buy model. This looks good. We have displacement. We have a manipulation at the lows. Market open volatility should drive us to this buy side liquidity. And before we tap into this 1-minute for value gap, right, where I had my limit order, NQ had actually come up and taken this internal high. This is the 1-minute chart. So 1, 2, in the first 3 minutes of market open, NQ had done this exact same thing and taken this high here. So we form an SMT at the highs. After we form this SMT at the highs, there's now no reason to be going long, because this SMT at the highs, I need to see displacement higher through this buy side liquidity to then, I would need to see displacement higher above this buy side liquidity to get rid of this SMT, then another pullback to a fair value gap, and then that's when we could go long if price wanted to continue to head higher to rebalance. But we put in this bearish SMT, so there's no valid reason to be taking a trade here anymore after this S&P is put in on this candle right here. But this SMT that was put in is what allowed me to gain confidence to go short, because we had all this generated sell side liquidity. A 4-hour rebalance is a place in which I'd expect price to rebalance to, also taking out this sell side liquidity. But in addition to that, we put in the SMT at the highs, and we displace lower. And if we take the manipulation leg right here where the SMT is at, if we take the standard deviation of the manipulation leg before the displacement lower, 2 to 2.5 standard deviation lines up perfectly with this sell side liquidity. Just going back to the 4-hour here, this is what the 4-hour looks like. Expecting a rebalance to this 4-hour for value gap. If we go to the 15-minute chart, man, bro, this is just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Manipulation, S&P at the highs. all this generated sell side liquidity. The manipulation leg standard deviation lines up perfectly with the sell side liquidity and this fair value gap. So once I identify this, I know I have very strong confidence that we're going to come down and take this liquidity here and rebalance to this 4-hour fair value gap. It was also the exact same situation on NQ. If we take this manipulation leg, the standard deviation of this manipulation leg right here, 2 to 2.5 lines up perfectly with this sell side liquidity and with this 4-hour fair value gap. So that is my new bias. Doesn't mean that we can't hit this 4-hour fair value gap, like I said, and then come back up and rebalance. But for this first 30 minutes market open, for this move right here, I'm expecting that rebalance and that all this generated sell side to get taken with this sell model right here, which is exactly what happened. So we displaced lower. We actually broke structure on the 15-minute chart as well. You can see this 15-minute candle closed well below these swing lows here, which gave me even more confidence on the trade. So I'm now looking to get tapped in short. I noticed that we have already tapped into this fair value gap right here. So my original limit order was something like this with an entry if we came up in turtle soup this high, but we didn't end up doing that. We ended up tapping in and displacing lower, and we opened up this 1 minute fair value gap right here. I'm going to mark it in blue. Let me delete this one real quick as well. So we have this blue, marked by the blue box. We have this 1 minute fair value gap right here, and we also formed this 1 minute order block. So my original stops were up here. So my initial entry was with 2 contracts short on this 1 minute fair value gap, stops above here in case we do want to come up and turtle soup this high before heading lower. But either way, I would expect this 1 minute order block to hold as well because price is bearish. So having my stops above this last fair value gap made a ton of sense for me. And we actually didn't end up coming up and wicking out this high. We actually left this untapped, but we came up, filled this 1 minute imbalance. Yes, we closed above it, but we came up and respected the body of this order block. So that is completely fine. That's completely fine. We respect this 1 minute order block and displace lower. And we open up a 1 minute fair value gap right here. So after displacing lower, I now see that price is protected by this order block right here. So I move my stops down to above the order block, and I enter another contract short in this 1 minute fair value gap right here. Or actually, it might have been 2 contracts short. Actually, no. So my first 2 contracts were added on this 1 minute fair value gap, like I said. And then price came up so high into the range right here that the RR for me was worth it to just throw on another contract at this high right at this point right here. I was expecting this to be turtle soup. But with my stops, with it being so low to my stops, the trade was still valid at this point, and I expected us to run to sell side. So I just slapped on another contract right around here. Actually, I slapped on another contract after we got this down close candle out of the order block. After we got a bearish candle close out of the order block. So now I'm in with 3 contracts. We then displace further, open up this 1 minute fair value gap, move stops to above this order block high, and then add one more contract on this 1 minute SIBI. And then price tapped into the 1 minute SIBI and just continued to dump to the downside to this 2 to 2.5 standard deviation and to this sell side liquidity and to this 4-hour imbalance. We also had news coming out at right at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. New York time, 30 minutes into market open. And I expected that news, whenever that news dropped, to just absolutely send us violently down to the pre-existing draw liquidity, which was my TP for the trade. And this news candle actually dropped right here. You can see how violent this original down close candle was. And so I took about 3 contracts off right around here because we had formed an SMT with NQ. NQ actually took this low a little bit before. Yeah, right around here. A few candles before, right around here. So I took 3 contracts off, left my 1 contract runner to this actual sell side liquidity, which actually did get taken. So, yeah, man, that was a very, very nice trade. Up around 3R on it. Yeah, man. So, very, very nice trade. And nice market maker sell model right here. About a 3R trade. So, very, very clean market maker sell model right here. And this just is like, bro, if you can just wait for when the market truly gives you opportunity to execute and then you can scale in like this, like, man, taking less trades and just being patient for setups like this to occur is literally the way to go, rather than just forcing lower quality setups. Like, this is an A+ setup for me. It is a bearish model inside of the higher time frame bias, which is also, the higher time frames are still bearish, even though we expected us to come up here and potentially rebalance, which I think still could happen. But after this move happens, after you catch a trade like this, done for the day. No reason to even be looking at the markets anymore, and logging off and calling it. And yeah, we had some higher impact news on this Monday, which is always great. So we got good price action, and happy to be able to be a part of this move this morning. So that's the trade recap. Very clean market maker sell model. And yeah, man, that is going to do it for this one. I appreciate you watching. Let me know if y'all were able to catch this trade. I thought it was very, very clean. And or I don't know if you could have been able to catch this original long on NQ. Yeah, no. This original long on NQ, well, it just happened so fast. But yeah, man. Appreciate you watching. I will see you on the next one. Peace.